Okay, let's do this. Stick my hand in my my olive my glass of water, and let's get on to the topic that goes along with this conversation. Okay, watching if watching watching Coach watching Kat Blaque and loving it and loving it too. Well, actually, there's a lot more than. Well, actually, how's it going there? YouTube and YouTube in general. How's it all? How's it all going? Um, Hope you don't mind. I'm playing with my hair here. Um, so, well, I thought just watching Cat Black, pardon me, and loving her uh, was support. You know, it turns out that that's one way to do it, but it's not the only. But it's not the only way. Like she's a poison. Low. She's a person too. You know, like you must realize that people in YouTube are people too. You know, they work really hard to do what they do. In in Cat Black's Cat Black's case, she works really hard, harder than any YouTube oriented person that I've seen, and it's easy for me. And I was helping her, and it's not all apples and cinnamon here. You know, doing what she does. I'm doing the same thing. Like whether it's building a YouTube channel or anything else, you know, you gotta work at it. And sometimes it can be exhausting. And sometimes it can be exhausting. Um, really tiresome work, you know. But it's not just that. There's a lot of things that come. There's a lot of things like emotional baggage coming with it. Like, is anybody gonna like my? Like, is anybody gonna like my stuff? You know. And I've seen Kat Blaque do that a lot. Not not knowing if her stuff's going to be liked and uh, enjoyed, and I can see that, and I and I'm not, and I'm like going to be, and like I'm going to be totally honest with you, and her, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, uh, wonderful people, and I'm going to be honest with Kat as well. It's hard. It's easy work. It's it's not easy work. It's real it's real hard to be the gardener of your YouTube channel. There's only there's so many vegetables to plant in there. There's so many things that can go right, and a lot of things that can go wrong. You know, and then sometimes, or most times, it's it's harder work than what people actually think and realize. Like I love cat, I love cats Cat Black's work because it's because it is hard work. It's it's like easy work. It's it's easy work, but only from the outside. It's extremely hard work, and it's uh like I've seen I've seen people do bad things in YouTube, and that's not the point. Kat Kat Blaque, however, is like an internet and Google queen, and sometimes she has to block, and sometimes she has to block certain people to get ahead in what she does. You know, like I I know this because I was blocked by her, but I'm not looking at it like it's a bad. But I'm not looking at it like blocking me was a bad thing. Blocking blocking me was just another way of trying to do what uh, blocking me was just a way of doing what she needed to do. You know, so no, so in so instead of taking it to heart, well, I mean, I did take it to heart, but at the time, but no, but I've had time to learn from it. I've had time to learn from it that that this is normal for some people that are trying to do their best work, and they can't always have someone nattering, talking. They can't stop to talk to someone like me or somebody else. They gotta keep their nose to the grindstone. You know, they can't always be like talking to folks, and you know they're serious at what they are trying to do. And if it's necessary, they will block hundreds, thousands of people to get up higher on the YouTube scale. You know, if they thought it was necessary, they would block certain, you know, a lot of their own viewers just to make their channels bigger and grander. So no, so like wherever you are, Kat Blaque, you know, like this is like I'm here, and I enjoy all of everything you're doing. I don't want to make this video too long, but I want to make my point clear on this. There's always a light. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and there's always somebody trying to knock you off to get to the end of the tunnel. You know, that's and that's just being that's just being fair. That right there is just being fair. That hey, hey, you know, it's not all about it's not all just about the channel, and it's not all just about that person. It's about it's about those two things. It's a juggling system to knowing what you need to do, knowing where you want to go with your channel, and how people are going to relate to it or enjoy it. You know, like it's not an easy like if building channels was an easy thing to do, we'd all do it, but it's not easy. You know, we make it look easy. Like I make it easy. Sean C. Phillips makes it easy. Rakia's Reactions makes it easy. Kat Blaque makes it easy. But it's not easy. But it's not easy. It's not easy. You know, if it, you know, like it's all part of the riot act of building up your, you know, your YouTube soldiers. You know, you got to be able to be prepared for things before those things happen. And up, like, you know, when shove comes to push, like when push comes to shove, a lot of times the the shoving is more like when push comes to shove, you can't just be like, you know, oh okay, you know, like I'll get to I'll get to that later. Yeah, no, no, no. It doesn't work like that. When push comes to shove, you have to shove harder than you ever did in your entire life to get to the next level. And that's anything. Rather it's building a YouTube channel, DJing, DJing, uh, standing out from the rock, standing out, getting noticed. It's all trying to get to the next higher level before someone else gets there. Because if they get there ahead of you, guess what happens? You're flushed down the toilet or thrown into the river, and there isn't a boat anywhere for miles. You have to swim to get to the boat. So it's like that. You have to invent a way that you can get to the next level, even if you have to swim. To get there. And it's just that's just it's regular. It's it's a regular thing to lose or to get to. It's a regular thing to lose to the next person. But if you get there before that person gets there, well, then you got the benefits. You got the benefits of the fruits of your labor, so to speak. You got there. You got there. You can you can celebrate, but however you can't celebrate without not taking the responsibility of it. So again, there's that. You know, Kat Blaque. Kat Blaque. I would not subscribe. I would not describe as a genius, but as a internet queen. I would describe Kat Blaque as an internet queen and a Google queen and a YouTube queen. I'm not saying, and I'm not telling you, and I'm not telling you those are the proper acronyms, and I'm not telling you that those are the proper acronyms. Sorry, and I'm not saying that those are the proper motives there, but I'm telling you that it's it's a fair game. It's a fair game that most people think of, but rarely get to. They don't know what it's like to be on the top because they're only like so far up. There's where people like Rokia's reactions, Sean C. Phillips, Cool Duder, me, Brains Wheels channel, without the stutters, of course, and True T, Kat Blaque. So I mean, come on, like, what's more important, being popular or climbing up the hill to get to that star? Like, I mean, what's more important, the popularity contest? So, like, may I ask you this? What's more important, the the popular the popularity contest, or the climbing and the falling down and the climbing back up this hill to get to the next level? You know, that's more popular than anything else. Is how much you put into it. How much climbing and falling did you have to do before you have mastered? How much climbing and falling did you have to do to get to the top? That's more important than any popularity contest, because in the end, what's more popular is that you didn't just fake it to make it. You actually put in the time. You actually climbed up the hill, not all at once. Like you just didn't jump over it. You took your time. You were climbing it. You failed somewhat. You would fall at some periods, but you were determined to get back up again and climb this friggin' hill. That's what it's about in DJing, in a YouTube channel building, creating, uh, cooking, anything. But in my case, And in Kat Blaque's case, it's fun. It's really fun to watch her stuff because you never know what this little lady's this little lady. Because it's always fun to watch her stuff because you can never tell what this little woman is going to come out with next. You know, and she's almost doing this like the R-rated level of YouTube. You know, where it's more risque. It's more uh, grittier than it's not all the paper cut. It's not all paper cutted and clean. It's it's like really hard to articulate subjects. It's a stuff that doesn't come out of the refrigerator. It's sometimes a dirty banana peel that needs it's a lot of times a big black banana peel that needs to be that needs to be seen. That's what it's about. Taking things down, t- getting new ideas, building an empire in your head of what you're trying to create. And that's very important for any YouTube builder, channel creator. You got to be able to know what you're doing before you do it. And if you don't have that, then you don't have the right. Then you don't have the nuts and the bolts to put that together. You gotta know a fair deal before you can put it together. You know, you gotta be able to be intact there. You gotta be. You got to be. You got to be. You got to be YouTubeably. You got to be YouTubeably. Sorry. You got to be YouTubeably. You got to be YouTube oriented to. You got to be capable. You have got to be capable of taking on the hills and not jumping right over them like they were small. You gotta climb them. You gotta climb. You gotta take your time. You gotta pack your credentials. You gotta climb up these hills like they're. You gotta climb up these hills one little inch at a time. You you can't just make like make like a running expert and be like, you know, okay, it's over. No, it's not. You got to be able to pack your essentials, put it in this backpack, and make sure you have your adjectives, along with you, and make sure you got all the pots and the pans and the cooking apparel, and you're going on this like unbelievably big giant journey up this hill. You know, you're gonna make it like climbing this hill is more important than than uh, than you know like it's one thing to be educated, but in the end you got to go out there and do it. You can't just be educated there. You got to go out there and grab it by the antlers, and you know like you can't just go by kindergarten or high school education. You can't just go by the education you get in school. You have to go out there and do it. You know, like you're not sitting in a chair in high school learning about it. You're doing it. Is a, Doing it is a lot different than sitting there in a chair in high school learning about it, reading about it, studying it. You know, that's all fine and good. That's all very fine to read about it and study it. But when it, but when the but when the big giant foot, but when you are out there, like you can read all the books on it, you can do all the studying and read all the books on it. But in the end, you got to go out there and do it. You know, there is no book. There's no high school equivalent. There's no high school equivalent. There's no book or high school that's going to teach you how to do it. You're going to do it. There's a huge difference between learning about it in high school and actually conquering it by yourself. You know, you can only ask for so many people. You can only, like, people can't be like, hey, would you like some help with that? Hey, would you like some help with that? Hey, would you like some help with that? Well, that's fine. They can ask you if you want help with that, but they can't. It's your mission. It's your hill that you're climbing, not someone else's hill. Yours, made for you, and you gotta be able and you gotta be able to know how to climb this thing long before you even start climbing it. And that's what it's like for YouTube people. That's what it's like for people in YouTube creating YouTube channels. That's what it's like for me. That's what it's like for Kat Blaque. You know, we can only do so much reading, book reading about it. We got to go out there and do it ourselves. Otherwise, it's like we did. Otherwise, it's like we didn't do it. You know, so that's what I'm getting at. We got to do it for ourselves. We got to create. We got to find a way to build the blocks and to rip open the divide that is. We're going to be able to rip open. We're going to be able to rip out from the toilet uh, of of being told we couldn't do it. You know, we're going to climb out of the. You know, we're going to climb out of the hole in the stratosphere to make something of ourselves, and that's something you cannot learn in any high school. You cannot learn that in any high school on this planet. You got to be able to do it, not to prove a point, but you got to be able to do it because you wanted to do it. There's no other way around it. You know, no high school teacher's going to tell you that. They're not going to teach you that. That's you. You've got to get out there and do it for yourselves. Otherwise, it's like you didn't do it. So it's that same thing in YouTube, where these channels are important, and we got to do it. We got to build them ourselves because no one else is going to do it for us. No one else is going to do it for us. No one's going to build these channels for us because that's what we're doing. We want to take our own orders and build things with it. That's important. As a YouTube-oriented person, building a channel for maybe the first, third, or fourth, for maybe the first or third time, and we gotta keep building. We can't, the sooner you do things for yourself, the better it's gonna be. The sooner you can do things for yourself and do that, the sooner you can do things for yourself, the better you'll be. Because no high school teacher or principal is going to be able to prepare you enough for what's going to come about in your future. That's all you. And rather your parents like it or not, you are the responsible one for knowing what's in your future. And rather your parents like it or not, and rather your parents and your siblings like it or not, you are the one that is responsible for your own future. No one can tell you what that's going to look like because, what if you have a different idea of what your future is going to be like? Don't you have a say in that? What don't you? That'd be helpful to know that if you do have a say in this, then you should be able to say, no, that's your idea of my future. That's not mine. End of story. You know, they can tell that you're doing this. They can people are not stupid. They know that once you've stepped up to the bar, or to your parents, or to your sister and brother, depending on who you're talking to at the time, if you just stand up and say, no, your idea of my future is a lot different from my idea of my. No, you're gonna belly up to the bar, so to speak, and be like, no, your idea of what my future has in it. No, your idea of what my future is. That's your idea. I have an idea on my own, and I don't know what that is, but I'm willing to climb the hills to get there. But I can't do it with everyone telling me, asking me if I want their help. That's the whole point of doing it yourself, is that you're trying to do this. Rather, you're still at home at 35 years, rather, you're still living in your parents' home at age 35. You know, it doesn't matter. You have the ambition, you have the future, you have the ideas to go with that future. It's up to you, not up to your siblings, not up to your high school teachers, not up to your parents, not up to your brother and sister. That's up to you and you only. They can ask if they want. They can ask if you want their help. Okay, fine. They can ask, but that doesn't always mean that you're going to. But that doesn't always mean that you're going to accept their help. A lot of the times, a lot of time, a lot of the time, there are well-established people that, you know, most of the time, people know. Most of the time, people have already conquered their hills. Most of the time, people have already climbed over those hills ages ago, and it was up to them to do what they thought they needed to do. You know, but that was them. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about me. I'm talking about Kat Blaque. Nobody, not even our boyfriends and girlfriends, can. I mean, they can be off to the side there, and they can help you somewhat. But at the end of the day, you have got to help yourself climb up and over the hills that you are willing to die on. You know, that's you, not your girlfriend, not your boyfriend, not your siblings, not your parents, not even your high school teachers. You know, if you thought that you can do it by yourself and be successful, then that's up to you. And it's the same thing for YouTube. Same thing. We're all doing it. We're finding out ways to do what we want to do and not accept everyone's hand in it. You know, just because we have an idea of what our channels want, just because we have, just because someone says, I think you should do your YouTube channel this way, and then another person says, oh, I think you should do your YouTube channel this way. No, no. If you're the one that decided to put together a YouTube channel, that's up to you to figure out and decide what you want to put in it. End of story. The curtains are, end of story. The curtains are coming down. The fat lady is singing. Leave it at that, all right? Just leave it at that.